Women podcast. For your career and your life, no matter what business you're in.
Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Northern Power Women podcast. I'm Sam Walker, confused in Arizona. She's Simone Roche, locked down in Liverpool. We've been here before, Simone, it seems, haven't we?
Welcome to March.
Oh, man alive. I don't know about you, but I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted by the world. The actual whole world. I can't think of anything that's giving me energy. Everything seems to be draining energy from me.
But you've been doing double days, haven't you? You've been doing time zones, haven't you? Because last week's America Fest election, which obviously will now go on into 2021, because you were reporting from there for here, weren't you?
That's right. I was on BBC Radio Manchester, BBC Radio 5 Live, Times Radio and LBC, all of them on multiple occasions. Do you know what? I had really great fun, but I'm really, really tired. And what was quite interesting was kind of seeing it from a guest point of view, because obviously I was on the radio as the presenter for nearly 20 years. And I tell you what, it's really annoying. It's really annoying when they call you up and they go, hello, is the studio here? Can you stand by? And you sit there for about 20 minutes and I'm like, I've got things to do. I'm busy here. So it's quite funny hearing it from the guest point of view. But we'll get
payback time.
It really is. We'll get on to guests in a minute because I want to talk about that during lockdown. But, you know, we have to be clear that we record this podcast a couple of days before it goes out. So at the time of you and I speaking, we still don't know who the president of the United States is. Maybe you know by the time you're hearing this. I'm thinking perhaps you don't. And I don't want to get into the politics of it all. But I tell you what is really exhausting me, and this is something I think that's as true for America as it is for the UK, as it is for pretty much anywhere right now. It's the divisions. It's the divisions that have been thrown up by this election. You know, it seems that half the country wants something completely opposite to the other half of the country. And it's kind of given me flashbacks to Brexit and the massive divisions that vote threw up, because pretty much half the country wanted one thing and pretty much half the country wanted the other thing. And it kind of feels a bit wounding. And I know that probably sounds a bit dramatic, but I feel like I want to crawl into a dark space right now and just perhaps listen to some spa music, you know, that tinkly, tinkly wind chime music. That's what I need in my life.
Well, just do it. Just go for it. Get some vegan aromatherapy balm out there and put it on your point. It's painful actually, and maybe this is, we've talked about leadership before, haven't we? And I think we're seeing, and what is being demonstrated is some really horrific styles of leadership, and I'm seeing various candidates for the presidency being akin to Hitler. I saw on a Twitter post this morning. This is what he did to get this, you know, totally say, you know, elections are, sort of, I don't think I used the word fraudulent, but elections are, you know, unfair and don't do this and don't do this. And that was obviously before the days of social media. So it's seeing these real strong opinions, and it feels like a bit like a civil war is brewing. And I hear you. There's an element of the new lockdown that we're in that is Groundhog Day, but also different. I mean, there was a real scramble panic for the shops last week because I think people are almost anticipating no Christmas too. But I think we're still in it. We've managed to retain an office environment, and I'm trying to stake that as my flag in the ground for my bit of sense of civility, that I can come into this office and I can shut a door and try and get on with the good stuff we're trying to do. And that's, you know, and don't get me wrong, we've got some aromatherapy balm going on the diffuser. double blend today. But I think we've all got to find what we can do for ourselves. I think it's really important. I think self-care, we go on and on and on about it, but I think it now more than ever, especially as we go into turbulent times ahead and unknown times ahead. So we've got to look out for each other, look after ourselves, more importantly, and try and, if we need to go in a hole, just don't go down a ditch that you can't get out of.
Yeah, don't go down a rabbit hole, but maybe just go into a warm, comfortable, I don't know, nook. I'll use that word, nook.
A nook?
That sounds quite comforting
that.
and welcoming, doesn't it, as opposed to a dungeon. So let's do that. Do you know what? I think, just talking to you, I think we need to remember that as many challenges as are lying ahead, and there are so many challenges still lying ahead, and if we start to think about everything we still need to overcome before any sense of, I'll use the word, normality returns, that's when it can become overwhelming, because we still think, are our jobs secure? Are our families okay? Will we get well? You know, we had a COVID scare this week where a friend of my daughter, she'd been for a sleepover. Bless them. No one's had a birthday party this year, obviously. All the girls, teenage girls, my daughter turned 13, didn't have a birthday party, but eventually 4 of them got together and had a sleepover for Halloween. The next day, one of the parents calls and says, I'm so sorry, but Mila's here with a temperature of 100 and coughing. And so, the children were then back off school. We quarantined them. As it turned out, Mila's symptoms went the very next day. And she doesn't have COVID. So that was great. But something like that suddenly threw in, and my brain started going, oh my gosh, well, what if I get sick? I'm so busy at the moment. I've got so many projects on. Who's going to take those projects on? What about the people I might let down? And your brain can race away with you with everything, that there's kind of terrible possibilities. So yeah, let's just take a moment and say, wow, we are in November. And do you remember this did all start in March, and we have come this far, and it's been really hard, and we've faced so many challenges, but we're all still standing, right? Some of us might be a bit wobbly, some of us might be in our nook, some of us might be holding onto the wall, but we're here. And I think that's what we should focus on right now, because it has been the most challenging of years, and we are just about still standing.
Absolutely. And this is where it's about reaching out, isn't it? Reaching out, stay connected or reconnect as well. There are people out there to help and support, whether it be your friends, your family. Right at the start of lockdown, we all reached out to people and got into routines and used every video app there was in the world, you know, from House Party to Zoom to Teams to WhatsApp to Facebook, all of them, we use them all. And I think because we've become overwhelmed with that video technology and work, I do feel like there's been some dropping of that from a personal space, especially as society opened again, but as now more importantly, I think we need to re-engage and reconnect and be intentional about those relationships. So whether it is that long lost friend or just that someone who you did check in with, just go back, recircle back, because actually you'll help each other.
Do you know what? You've made just a really good point there. And I feel terrible saying this, but we have family Zoom calls at the weekend. And there have been times when it's got to the weekend and I haven't spoken to any friends or family all week who are not in the States. Obviously, I've spoken to friends here, but haven't spoken to anyone from back home. And it'll get to the weekend and I'll think, I don't want to go on a Zoom call. I can't bear another Zoom call. But of course, they're the most important of all the Zoom calls that I've had all week, are the ones with my family and my friends back home. So you can just get fatigued, though, and not take that time for yourself because you think, I just can't. But it feels like work, because everything feels like work right now. So, yes, must make those Zoom calls the priority. I want to talk quickly about voices and being heard. And of course, I think back to the work and the campaign that you're doing, Simone, about making sure that women's voices are heard and expert voices are heard. And I don't know if you've seen this research from between King's College London and the Global Institute for Women's Leadership. And they went through and they analysed nearly 15,000 articles, all published around COVID-19 between March and July. Okay, very beginning of March, very end of July. 15,000 articles from all over the world, UK, Australia and the USA. And just 5% of experts cited in any of these news items were women. 5% of the well-known STEM experts were women. Now, and you just think, what is going on? Now, 17% of unique, prominent STEM experts are women, okay? And yet just 5% are mentioned. And it's again, what can we do? And I think quite often there's that accusation, isn't there, that, oh, well, women, you're not putting yourself forward. Women, you're not putting your hand up. And I think perhaps there is a tiny element of that, a tiny, teeny dot element of that, because for quite often we have, if we're only the only woman in the room, it is hard to put your hand up and stand on the platform and say, listen to me. And, all those things about imposter syndrome leap in. But I also think there needs to be more of an effort from the broadcasters, the journalists, the writers to say, I need to find a woman's voice on this, because not because she's better or more informed, but to show that there are more than those 4 or 5 key voices out there.
100%. And that's why we set up the Be Heard campaign. In fact, we set it up on this very podcast, didn't we? Because I'd had a conversation with one of the producers at 5 Live looking for person demographic X and somebody else. And I'm like, right, and there is still a little bit of, where you'll put the shout out and it will be 5 minutes after the deadline. Oh, I've only just seen it. No. We need to, I will be persistent and I will keep chasing people, because I think it's really important. And now there is no excuse not to have those voices on air, because there's no traveling. We can do it from exactly as we're doing this now. So I think it's really important. I and we are committed to intentionally bugging the life out of some of the media out there in a good way, because we wanted to be positive, and equally around event organisers as well. There was an event only a couple of weeks ago, and we actually pulled an emergency race equality power circle together meeting a few days later, because there had been absolutely way more female representation, but no ethnicity, bar one speaker on the lineup out of 49 or something like that. So, that's absolutely one of the things is angling it into events as well, because if you're creating a platform to discuss key matters, whether it be about sectors such as engineering, whether it be about the Northern Powerhouse, whether it be about climate change, you need to ask and reach out and keep trying. Don't just put one LinkedIn post out there. You've got to be really intentional about unearthing the talent. That's why we've always done the awards, is to unearth the talent and the voices at all levels. But you've got to do it in that day to day, and as I say, we're really, really committed to do that. That's why on this podcast we make sure over 50% of the life lessons are from a Black, Asian, minority, ethnic background as well. So we are committed to sort of pushing this agenda, but you've got to work hard at it. It's not easy, but we want to do that, and I think that so I think if in doubt, then ask. North Power Women on Twitter, connect at northernpowerwomen.com, get in touch, we will help. And we're doing that at the moment with we've been approached by so many headhunters, recruitment agencies, and sometimes it gets frustrating, because you're like, I'm going to do this and share this out there for free when you're getting a fee. And I'll do it to prove a point. I'll do it because I proactively want to create spaces and add diverse voices to tables. Yeah. But at some point, there's got to be something in that goes, oh, actually, yes, Simone, we should fund you to do this, because we know it takes time, and all this kind of thing. And I know lots of people are shouting, going, you never do that, you never ask for that, you're just. But I will do it to a point, because I want it to benefit those individuals, and I want it to benefit those top tables. It's really important.
2 things. Number one, I got my stat wrong a moment ago. I said that 17% of all STEM experts were women. It's much, much higher than that. I misread the report that I was looking at. That was to do with another number of voices. So it is just 5% of STEM experts who have been quoted during this pandemic are women. Women make up a much, much larger proportion than that. I want to say as well, because I've worked in radio and media for so long, I know what the pressure is like when you are in a live radio space, you're in a newsroom, you're perhaps live on air or about to go live on air, a story breaks and you think, we need an expert, we need a voice. And that is not the time to start to try and research and find somebody new. It's incredibly difficult in those circumstances to get a voice to come on air. And you can understand why, to a degree, you end up with what's been known in the business as an easy fix. Oh, that's an easy fix. You just phone them up. They always pick the phone up. They always come on. But And it's very hard with the way that newsrooms are being defunded around a lot of the networks to then say, well, okay, well, the programme's finished at midday. Now spend 2 hours trying to build up your contacts book for the show tomorrow, because actually you've got other things to do and maybe your shift actually ends at midday because you're not being paid and la, 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 la. So there are many, many things in play here. And I think that's why it's really important to do two things. Number one is exactly what you are doing, Simone, and what we here at Northern Power Women are doing. And that is to make it easy to collect those voices and go, here you are, here they are on a silver platter. Here's everyone's name, here's everyone's phone number, everyone's email address, social media account. They're ready, willing and able to talk to you. That is one thing to do. And you're right, in an ideal world, we'd pay you gazillions of pounds to do that because it's really, really, really important work. The second thing to do is, if you are an individual, please, you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to talk about lights and bushels again, but do not hide your light under a bushel. Please do not do that, because you have got something to say. I bang on about this all the time, but I know that you kind of get that clenching moment of, oh, am I going to say it wrong? Am I going to say something silly? What have I got to say? Oh, surely that other expert over there knows so much more than I do. You are valid. You have got something to say. So please do get in touch. power-platform.com is where you can look under stories. You can find out how to get involved with this and put your name forward, because believe me, you do have something to say and we do want to hear from you. So it's kind of a bit of 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. We can push forward so much, but unless we know you're there and willing and able, it's not a lot we can do.
Yeah, and we're heavily investing in this from a time perspective and an effort perspective into the platform to build on the machine learning and the AI. And this is all the cool stuff that I'm learning. Don't really know what it is. So I'm a bit, proper imposter syndrome. But, we want to, because we don't want to just create a static list. It's like the awards, we don't create a static. It's always about keeping things live. And actually, you will see, we'll have links to this because we've refreshed our website. Right. So there'll be information on this on the Northern Power Women website, on the power-platform.com. So wherever you choose to consume your information, you can find it. You can't get away from it. Sign up to be heard. If you are an event organizer and need access, get in touch as well, because it's out there. The information we've got is there. So please let us bring it to life. Give a platform and a stage.
Marvellous stuff. Do you know what this means? It's perfect timing for. Let's get some life lessons.
I think it is time. And this week we have got, wonderful tones of Louise Lonergan, who's the Chief Executive Officer at the Lonergan Group. And do you know what? Listen to this and then we'll regroup, but never could be a better time for these sound bites.
My name is Louise Lonergan. I'm the CEO of the Lonergan Group and we're based in Ireland. My first question, what's the one piece of advice that's really stuck with me? I think that you must keep an eye on your finances because if COVID-19 has taught us anything, is you have no idea what's coming down the tracks at you next. And if you don't have a good idea about what's going on in your business's finances, it means that you can't cut staff fast enough or cut rent or make changes, deviate, spend more money on marketing or whatever decisions you'll have to make. So I think it's imperative that you keep a good eye on your finances at all time. So that will help you pivot if necessary. My second question is, what advice would you pass on to somebody starting their career today? My answer to that is you'll need to keep moving and re-educating yourself continually. Everything changes very fast. For example, digital marketing would be a good suggestion of that. Things have changed. Marketing is a different beast than it used to be before. So you need to become a jack of all trades. So you need to understand all the different features of your business. You don't need to be the master of them. So it's important that I tell you that, because you will bring on a bookkeeper or an accountant or a digital marketing company, or you'll get interns, or there's so many new, free options and free help out there at the moment. But you do need to understand what the process is about. So question 3, when have you faced imposter syndrome and what did I do about it? My answer is I have definitely suffered with this and I can't pretend that I still don't. But it is important to know that it happens to most women entrepreneurs, which is quite sad. The ones that mostly get me are that it's only a matter of time before it all falls down around me, or I've nothing original to say. So what I have done is I listen to podcasts and I educate myself usually. So I got a lovely audio book about worrying, and as I say, I did a podcast. And I have a new motto that I've done it before, I can do it again, and that gets me out of trouble a lot of the time. The advice I got from the book that I read was put the evidence down as far as, you know, has it gone wrong in the past? How many times has it gone wrong in the past? And is it likely to go wrong again? And it's actually funny that most times it doesn't go wrong. So this doubt that we have usually is unfounded. Question 4, tell us about a time you've had to be resilient. This is really a silly question for me, because as far as I'm concerned, when you're an entrepreneur, resilience is everyday code. You have to be like a steam train going through the wall. You're continually chasing sales, chasing debtors, trying to get your staff to come to work on time, trying to get them to do their job. So it is difficult, and if you don't have that strong work ethic and resilience, I don't think you're in the right place in the first place. Question 5, what difference did a mentor make to me? I love mentors. I use them to ask for help. If there was one thing I would do differently, is I would ask for help early. It's amazing the amount of free stuff that's available out there. It's amazing the amount of people that are happy to help. If you get a mentor that's a few steps ahead of you or in a similar role, you'll be so surprised. Even though they could be in completely different businesses, you'll probably have the same issues, and it's actually really heartwarming to know that they struggle with the same thing as you, and they might have a few tips and you might have a few tips for them. I joined Vital Voices and I thought it was absolutely amazing, and some of the women's networks are fabulous for helping. It's a lonely game, entrepreneurialism, and it's nice to have, as I say, that sounding board. And it's I would have 2 and 3 mentors at times. You have different mentors for different things. As I say, many people are happy to mentor people. Sometimes I'm with a mentor at the moment, probably a year, and then I've had mentors that I've worked with, 1 or 2 times. So wishing you all the very best, and I hope these answers are helpful for you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much to Louise Lonergan from the Lonergan Group. So much of what she said there really resonated with me when I heard them, about educating yourself, about resilience, about taking stock of things that perhaps you might find a little bit not boring. When you think about your finances, you think, oh, well, that'll all sort itself out. No, let's focus on those things that can sometimes slip away from you. I thought that was terrific.
And I love the fact that as an entrepreneur, resilience is just part of your everyday code. Yes. I love that. And also the imposter syndrome, where she puts, write the evidence down. If you've got any imposter syndrome rounds, write it down. You'll find that it's probably unfounded. And I was like, that, brilliant. So loved it. Love Louise's life lessons.
Please, we would love to hear from you. Do get in touch. You can just send us an email, podcast@northernpowerwomen.com. It's dead easy. It will take you just a couple of minutes, and we really would so love to hear from you. So please do send us that email now, and we'll tell you exactly what to do. podcast@northernpowerwomen.com. Simone, before we head off into the sunset, or / go and hide in our nook, we talked a bit about self-care earlier on, and we are back in lockdown in the UK. The world is in turmoil here in the US. I attempted some self-care this week which went horribly wrong. So my hair has got darker and darker and darker and darker over lockdown as I've been using sort of home hair dyeing kits. And obviously I'm not very good and I'm not a professional. And my hair's been getting so dark, and I thought, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to lighten it right up. I want to get much lighter brown again. So I went and got this sort of dye removal kit, which had to be rinsed for 20 minutes. Yes, even said that on the packet. It went, yes, 20 minutes. Had to sit under the shower. I literally put the news on my phone outside the shower door and watched that for 20 minutes while I sat under the stream, because it was just ridiculous. Anyway, I did all that, stripped all the colour out, got this new colour that was called light brown. The whole thing took me about 3.5 hours. Towel dried my hair afterwards. Guess what colour my hair is?
Dark brown?
Exactly the same as it was before. My hair has just reverted to, no, I'm just going to be really, really dark brown. So that was a complete waste of time. Attempted self-care has just annoyed me and triggered me.
Oh, do you know what? That is brilliant. Well, my self-care moment last week was not very good, because I had a cooking incident.
Oh.
And can you believe it? It was over the Sunday roast. I decided to just try and de-lump some of my gravy, which really didn't need it, but I thought, we'll make it all perfect. Yeah, was it hot? Yes. Did my NutriBullet like it? No. Do I have third-degree burns on my arm? Yes.
No.
So thank goodness there are no kind of summer moments or evening gown moments at the moment, because I have the best part of a, 4-inch blister stroke scar on my arm. Yeah.
I mean, if you say that you've got a gravy injury, it does sound quite funny, but at the same time, goodness me, that sounds horrendous.
I know. So yes, and of course, Did I go to the doctor straight away? No, not till I posted it on Facebook and I started getting berated by the family, Northern Power Women community. Anyway, I've now got Flamazine, which sounds like a recipe, but that's going to hopefully sort of de-scar some of my gravy burnage on my arms, because I just thought, I'm wearing a jumper, no one can see. But yes, not big and not clever. And equally, Northern Power Man is still finding gravy dispatched across the galley kitchen. Not impressed.
Self-care disasters, please do come and share them. We would love to hear from you. Just, we need a little bit of light in this darkness. Not that third-degree burns are lightness, but Flamazine, yes, it sounds like it would be delicious with some custard. So do get in touch, please. podcast@northernpowerwomen.com. Simone, go and find your nook. I'm going to go and find mine. Thank you so very much for listening. The next episode will be coming your way on Monday, November the 16th. Until then, this is the Northern Power Women podcast. I'm Sam Walker, and it's a What Goes On media production.